Good morning. Today is day 9 of my 11th combine. Or is it day 10? I forget. Let me go find out here. What combine am I on now? Day 9. So tomorrow, Friday, ends my combine, day 10. So we start with day 9. This is a live recording of how I do this morning's production. So once again, to summarize, we're using the Trinity layout and the Trinity trading plan. Jerk is flat in the danger zone, just below the zero. So essentially it's telling us don't do a darn thing. And according to the Trinity trading plan, the prime, which is this solid red line, red and pink, did not bounce off or poke its head out of the lower mids. So no way are we going to take a position as they're not together crossing up through the zero. So we just let it be. There will be another chance. Now, if jerk lot crosses back up through the zero as prime crosses through the zero, that may be the time to go in and take a position. But for the meantime, we stay out. It's not worth it as jerk is flat and the Trinity lines are not together as they go up. Looking at the hot of the ES, it says that yeah, we should be going up, but jerk has flattened out right outside the danger zone as prime and in has turned down with a down block on our alpha. So not a good time for a long and not a good time for a short because of the price action. Let's look at the RLM. RLM has very large bars, at least previously around midnight. So on the RLM, the Trinity lines, once again, if you're not familiar with the Trinity lines, the fastest of the Trinity line is the alpha in, the dotted line, and then the next fastest is the prime, the solid line, and then the slowest of the Trinity line is the alpha line, the dashed line. So according to the Trinity lines here on the RLM, since the prime popped its head outside the mids, then this would have been a good place when everybody turned the up color. Yeah, go ahead and take that long, and we would exit once right here, once alpha in flattened out and turned back down. But we were saying that crossings were significant because that's what we found out yesterday. So here's a crossing of alpha in, and yeah, that's significant. That's your indication that you should have been in already in a position for the long. And here's the crossing of the alpha in with a down color, but the rest are going up. So theoretically you wouldn't exit because the rest of the lines are going up. So this would be the one as everything flattens. Let me pause this as I answer. Okay, welcome back. So I described to you what the Trinity lines are, the fastest being the alpha in, the dotted line, the second fastest of the Trinity lines being the prime, and the slowest of the Trinity lines being the alpha or the combo A itself, the dashed line. Now, as we evaluate this morning when we opened our chart, once again, what did we see? We saw that the prime is essentially in the danger zone, going flat, trying to get back up through the zero. Well, that's a dangerous area. When the prime is flat in the danger zone, it is best to wait for that prime to free itself from the danger zone before you take a long position. So we just sit here on our hands and do nothing because that prime is still in the lower danger zone. So now we're exploring the other charts, the RLM, to see what it's saying over the long term. The RLM hot is also saying that we were in a long But if you look at the jerk has finished or has already finished its up cycle yesterday, and then it went down, bounced off the zero, and it looks like it's going to start another up cycle once the prime decides to turn around and the inline decides to turn around. Now, on our lot trading plan, the old trading plan, the fastest line is the inline, which is actually the prime in, which is based upon the prime itself. The second fastest is the prime, and the slowest, of course, is the jerk. So bottom line, with the on the RLM hot on the lower left here, with the jerk bouncing off the zero, it's telling us that we may go up provided that prime and the inline turn on the Russell hot. If they don't turn, then it's going to be a down market. And if it's going to be a down market, that means on our ES lot here, our low order time frame, the jerk will not be able to make it through the zero. So we just sit here and wait, because we know the correct condition, our trade setup to make an entry for the long, and that is we've got to wait until the Trinity lines get out of the danger zone, the upper danger zone. I'll pause now until something interesting happens. All right. Welcome back. It's now 8:20. Jerk was trying its best to go through the zero but failed. The inline has now turned down on the lot ES, and prime is now making it outside of the lower danger zone. So, however, we're not going in for a position, because look at your bid and ask value lines here on the edge of the chart. It's pushing the middle of the bar. It needs to be pushing the bottom of the bar for us to go in, take a position. So it's not time to take a position yet, since it's pushing the middle of the bar. So we'll wait for that. I'm going to pause again. Welcome back. We're now getting in a short position, and I'll tell you why. Because the alpha in has finally come down through the zero with a nice angle, and the prime is now headed towards the lower mids. So here we are. The bid and ask lines here at the side are now pushing the bottom of the bar. So we'll see how this develops. Now it's 8:35 in the morning. The jerk is also headed towards the lower danger zone. And we have a crossing of the alpha in through the jerk, so that's significant. And that turns out to be an invisible crossing here with all the Trinity lines. Now, what's an invisible crossing? An invisible crossing is not a physical crossing that you see here, where the alpha in line crosses through the prime and through the alpha. A invisible crossing is when all of the lines turn at the same time. In this case, they turn the down color at the same time. So that's an invisible crossing. So now you know that term, visible versus invisible crossing. Because in the STO toolset, any crossing that happens is significant, and you've got to ask yourself, if you see a crossing, what does it mean? So what's our exit criteria? Our exit criteria is watching the alpha inline, because if the alpha inline crosses through another line up here in the Trinity, the ES lot area, low order time frame chart, that's time to exit. Or if the alpha inline turns the up color, that's time to exit. So we're watching the inline down here on the ES lot, as well as the alpha inline, because that'll let us know when it's time to get out of our position. As well as pay attention to how the bid and ask lines are pushing the current bar. So I'm going to keep this recording going so that you can see how and where I exit, as well as I need to listen to my intuition and just act when my intuition says something to me. Right now, my intuition says everything is okay. The Trinity lines on the RLM ES, RLM lot, are positioned very nicely. They had an invisible crossing and everybody's together as they're pushing to go through zero. So that's wonderful. But we may have resistance here on the RLM jerk as it tries to go down through the zero. As you see now, the bid-ask lines have backed off. They're not pushing the last quarter of the bar. I'm going to watch that closely, because if it starts pushing the middle to the upper quarter of the bar, then yeah, that's not good. As you see, our profit on the RLM has disappeared. But we'll stay with this because there's nothing that tells us we should exit, as the prime is now sticking its head outside the lower mids on the ES lot. So we're just waiting and watching how the bid-ask lines here on the edge are pushing the current bar, watching to see what the alpha in and the in lines are doing here on the ES lot. We're really not paying attention to the RLM at this point because we take our cues from the ES. Whatever we do to the ES, we do to the RLM. Everything is slowed down again. As you can see by the tick count, it's not counting down that much. And the volume right now at this time, which is 8:40 in the morning, is sitting at 178,000 for the ES. And the RLM has a volume of only 3,400. The garbage truck is picking up the garbage. That's the noise in the background. Again, we're still pushing the lower quarter of the current bar with the bid-ask lines. Now we're pushing the bottom of the current bar. The prime, the inline and the prime has made it through the zero on the RLM lot. We're up to 1,000. We're up to 1,000 on the ES, 800 on the RLM. But we don't trade for money. We trade for what our indicators tell us. So we're still in here. We're watching what the inline and the alpha inline are doing, as well as the bid-ask lines are doing. We've still got 2,900 trades to go before the next bar gets drawn, and again we're pushing the lower quarter again. Now if the RLM jerk on the lot here makes it through the zero, we're going to have a stupendous downtrend. Things slow down again. $750 on the ES, 1,400 on the RLM. Current potential profit that we've made. Potential, because we haven't locked them in. market is still slow. You can see how quickly the profits on the RLM just evaporates. That's why we don't trade the dollars. We trade the indicators. We knew when to get in and we know when to get out, so that's what we're waiting for. And so far it's telling us just stay. We're still pushing the lower half of the bar. Now we're in the middle of the bar. So back to the lower half, which is good. Come on, keep pushing the lower half. It's now 8:45. Still pushing the lower half of the bar. Pushing the bottom of the bar. 1,700 ticks to go before the next bar. Once the next bar gets created, I'm going to close out my position. $1,300. $680 ticks to go before the next bar. We're pushing the lower quarter again, the lower half, as the jerk of the RLM lot is doing its best to have enough energy to push through the zero. The inline is at least poking out of the lower danger zone, and the prime has a nice angle down. Somebody IM'd me, and it's Bruce. He says good morning. We're still pushing the bottom half of the bar. $300 ticks to go before the next bar. Everything still says stay in. There are no crossing of the A in line with another line. Everything looks good on the RM lot. Adding Bruce to the group call. Welcome, Bruce.
Hey folks, how are we doing today? I hear you're in a short.
Yep, I am in a short, and it's still telling me to stay in.
Okay.
So I'm watching it right now. I'm also recording on video, so don't say anything incriminating.
Thanks for the warning. Hello, Donna.
Good morning.
So now the Trinity lines are beginning to flatten out. Flatten out means continuation. The inline is beginning to cross down through the prime. So right about here would be a good time to finally call an end to this, because what's really going to be, what may happen, is the RLM prime is just going to bounce off the zero, and we're just going to have another retrace. We have a green bar, and we're pushing the top of that bar. We started another, yep, and it's now 8:51. But let me take a chance by not exiting here, because I still don't have an alpha in crossing anywhere. Crossing another line is not happening, nor a color change is not happening, so we'll just stay in here and continue to watch this. All the Trinity lines for the RLM are still together, trying to do their best to go through the zero, but of course we know what's holding it up, the jerk of the RLM, as it's trying to make its way through that zero. We've got a red bar now, and we're pushing the bottom of the red bar of the ES. Now it keeps flipping, so it wants to go up. We're pushing the bottom of the current bar of the ES. Good morning, yeah, which is good news for us. Still holding. We still have another 4,600 ticks to go before the next bar on the ES gets created. So I'm really watching how this bid and ask value lines are pushing the current bar. As long as it's pushing the bottom of the bar, then we're okay. The inline is crossing down through the prime as the prime is beginning to flatten out at the lower narrows of the ES. Still pushing the bottom of the bar. It's now 8:53. R keeps flipping colors. The RLM inline is having a hard time getting through that lower danger zone. But I feel a lot more confident because the prime is further yet from the zero as it crossed down through that zero. Yes, a lot of resistance here. We're pushing the top of the bar again. And we're beginning to keep pushing the top of the bar. I'm going to flatten out. So right there, 600 on the RLM, 1500 on the ES, and I flattened out. So that's it for production on day 9. I'm stopping the recording.